So, Ryan Fallon here, and I'm just going to kind of take you all the way back to the beginning of my fitness journey when I first decided that I was going to lose some weight and get back in shape. So, day one, I decided the biggest thing I needed to do at that point was I just needed to really change what I was eating. So, in my mind, I just needed not to eat very much and to really lower my calorie intake by a bunch. And so that's kind of what I did that first week. I didn't eat a lot throughout the day. I still had my 3 meals, but I just cut way back on what I was eating. And hey, I got on the scale a week later and I had lost 7 pounds that week. So to me, I was like, all right, yeah, this is working. Great, fantastic. And then I got into that second week and I kept not eating very much. And I was tired all the time. I was napping through the day. I didn't have any energy to do anything. I didn't really think about it until I got back on the scale at the end of that second week, and I had lost like 1 pound. I was like, I'm not going to go through what I've gone through this past week of not having all that energy and not really losing much. It's just not worth it, So I just kind of quit with the eating part and went back to my other stuff. And it wasn't until, like I said, this was probably about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, when I first decided to start. Well, when I first did that. And yeah, that second week was just horrible. It dragged on forever. And I knew something, I just didn't feel very good, whatever. But, like I said, I just kind of quit with that. And it wasn't until about 15, 16 months ago when I really decided that I had to get my nutrition in line with my exercise. And that's when I really started looking into, okay, what's the right way to do this? And that's when I got into and realized that, man, I had done it so wrong that first time. I didn't take into account anything about what my calorie intake should have been. I just decided to drop everything way down. And that's the reason why I was so tired, wasn't feeling good. I didn't really lose much weight that second week. And if I had continued to do that, I would have gotten really bad. I might have lost a little bit of weight here and there, but it wouldn't have been the fat I was losing. It would have been the muscle. I would have been losing the little bit of muscle I had. I would have been losing that instead of all that fat. So now that I've been on a pretty strict plan with myself for the past 15, 16 months. I don't like to really use the word strict. I keep myself to it, but I enjoy doing it. But I've lost, like I said, I've lost almost 100 pounds in about 16 months. And it's because I added that food back into my diet, and it was the right type of food. So I found out what my caloric intake was supposed to be. I minused out right about 500 calories, and that's where I started. Now, I don't focus too much on calories because I focus more on different groups of foods that I want to make sure I eat each day, a certain amount of each. And it is kind of based around calories. I'm always in a certain range of calories a day that I eat. But I can always tell if I've gone a couple days and I haven't gotten in the right amount of calories. If I'm real low on my calorie count, I can always tell because I start to get tired and I don't really have the energy that I usually do. And so then I always go back and I look, okay, oh, you know what, that day, you're right, I didn't eat that day. It was on my plan to eat, and I just didn't eat it. And I didn't do it again that next day. And I can always tell a big difference. And I can tell. So then when I add that food back in, I'm still losing weight, but I feel so much better. I've got that energy. So that's just kind of where I've come from and gone and done a little bit of research on it because I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way. And I run into so many people when they first start that they think they need to drop their calorie count so far to lose that weight. And And I can understand their thinking on that because I thought that the same thing, you know. But you don't want to drop it too far. You don't want to starve yourself. It's just not good short term, and it's really not good long term for your health if you're not eating enough. So sometimes more food is better if you want to lose weight. So that's all I've got for you today. Adios.